Across the endless plains of the Serengeti in Tanzania, the sun rose slowly, casting golden hues over the wild landscape. A gentle breeze whispered through the tall grasses as birds soared overhead. Among this natural beauty, a young wildlife ranger named Tabo drove his dusty patrol vehicle down a winding dirt track. He had always been fascinated by the untamed world, and now he had dedicated his life to preserving it. Each morning, he prepared with care, checking his supplies, cleaning his equipment, and making sure his first aid kit was complete. He knew that the wilderness was unpredictable, and each day brought the possibility of something extraordinary. Tabo's connection with nature ran deep. He often paused to study animal tracks, listened to distant bird calls, and felt the presence of life in every shadow. One morning, as the mist lifted off the grass, Tabo noticed something unusual, small crimson spots staining the earth. His heart grew heavy. He followed the trail quietly, stepping over rocks and brushing aside thick grass. The blood led him to a shocking sight. There, beneath a lone acacia tree, lay a powerful lion. Its majestic body was twisted, caught painfully in coils of barbed wire. Its golden fur was matted with dirt and blood. Tabo froze for a moment, overwhelmed by the gravity of the scene. The lion was alive, but its breathing was shallow. The cruel wire had sunk deep into its flesh, carving wounds into its shoulders and back. Without hesitation, Tabo reached for his medical kit and a pair of thick pliers. He approached slowly, whispering softly, trying to calm the injured creature. The lion's eyes opened weakly. Pain and fear lingered in its gaze, but it did not try to run. It could not. With trembling hands, Tabo began to cut the wire. Each movement had to be precise. The metal was sharp, and one wrong move could make things worse. Sweat ran down his face, but he stayed focused. The lion grunted in pain, but Tabo's voice never wavered. Bit by bit, the wire came loose until, at last, the final strand dropped to the ground. Tabo quickly cleaned the wounds and applied temporary bandages. He stepped back and watched. The lion struggled but managed to rise. It turned its head and stared directly into Tabo's eyes. That moment stretched like eternity. Then, silently, it limped away into the tall grass. Days passed. Tabo continued his patrols, haunted by the memory of the lion. He wondered if it had survived. He had given it a name, Asani, which meant valiant in the local tongue. He hoped Asani's strength would carry him through recovery. One evening, as the sky blushed with orange and purple, Tabo saw a familiar shape in the distance. A lion stood watching him from a hilltop. It was Asani. Though still bearing scars, he looked stronger, more stable. From that day forward, the two were never truly apart. Asani never approached directly, but he was always nearby, silent, steady, and watchful. Rangers whispered about the unusual lion that followed Tabo's vehicle at a distance. At first, some were alarmed, but soon it became clear. Asani posed no danger. He was not hunting. He was protecting. During patrols, if Tabo paused to examine tracks or fix a damaged fence, Asani waited. If Tabo stopped to rest, Asani would sit atop a hill, keeping an eye on him. The bond was unspoken, but unmistakable. A silent friendship had grown between them. Months went by. One dry season brought unusual heat and scarcity. The animals grew restless. In the park's western region, a group of elephants became aggressive. Stressed by the lack of water, they began charging through campsites, destroying trees and trampling paths. Authorities ordered all tourists to evacuate. Tabo and his team were assigned to guide people to safety. While helping a family reach their vehicle, Tabo became separated from the group. He found himself stranded on a small rise, surrounded by broken branches and dry shrubs. The rumble of heavy feet drew closer. Out of the trees emerged a herd of frantic elephants, their eyes wide with fear and confusion. Tabo had nowhere to run. The massive creatures surged toward him, their cries deafening. Panic gripped him. Just then, a roar thundered through the air. From the distance came a blur of golden fur. Asani charged toward the herd, planting himself between Tabo and the elephants. He growled low and deep, baring his teeth with defiance. The lead elephant paused, uncertain. Asani stepped forward, fearless. The air crackled with tension. The lion roared again, louder this time, daring the giants to challenge him. The elephants stomped and trumpeted, but Asani did not flinch. His presence held them at bay. Tabo, stunned, took the chance to escape to higher ground. From there, he watched the incredible scene unfold. The mighty lion faced the herd alone, protecting the man who had once saved his life. At last, the elephants began to back away, their rage spent. As they vanished into the trees, Asani's legs buckled. He collapsed in the dust, exhausted. Tabo rushed down, heart pounding. He knelt beside the lion, placing a gentle hand on his mane. Asani's sides rose and fell rapidly, but he was alive. Tabo whispered softly, his voice filled with gratitude. With great effort, he lifted Asani into his vehicle and sped to the veterinary center. The staff worked tirelessly. The lion had suffered bruises and deep fatigue, but no lasting injuries. As he lay resting, Asani would tilt his head whenever Tabo entered the room. Their connection remained strong. News of the lion's bravery spread quickly. Visitors flocked to the park, hoping to catch a glimpse of the legendary duo. The story of the ranger and the lion became a symbol of unity, courage, and trust. Asani recovered slowly. When he was strong enough, he returned to the wild. Yet he never fully disappeared. On many mornings, Tabo would spot him in the distance, sitting on a rock or pacing the horizon, always nearby, always watching. The memory of their journey lived in every patrol, every silent moment shared across the grasslands. Tabo often reflected on the day he had freed Asani from the wire. That single act had forged a bond no hardship could break. Around campfires, fellow rangers spoke of their story with awe. The legend of Tabo and Asani echoed through the park. Two souls from different worlds, brought together by kindness and trust. And as the sun dipped below the horizon each evening, Tabo knew that somewhere in the vast Serengeti, a lion still watched over him, not as a beast, but as a guardian. A friendship carved by fate and sealed with courage.